Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Any evidence that is based entirely on unverified tips and unverified claims from random sources cannot actually be taken on its own as evidence of anything. There are just too many other potential reasons why these parties may be involving themselves. But I've already explained in detail why I think Tyler Robinson did in fact kill Charlie Kirk, not at the behest of TPUSA or any foreign government or our own government, but instead moved by his own left-wing pro-trans radicalism.
That is Matt Walsh, everybody. And like the rest of us, Matt Walsh has watched the first 2 episodes of Candace Owens' Bride of Charlie, Erica Kirk documentary, where she is delving into the history of both Erica Kirk and Erica Kirk's family's background and how she, eventually led up to becoming the CEO of one of the most powerful and wealthiest political organizations in the country. And Matt Walsh has seen enough. Matt Walsh, who purports to be a friend of Candace Owens, who Candace Owens purports to be a friend of Matt Walsh, has decided that he is now going to put out an almost hour video debunking of, as he calls it, Erica Kirk conspiracy theories. And he goes a step further and states in this video, as you're about to hear, that if half the things that Candace Owens has been stating was to be presented in a court of law, then Candace Owens would be laughed out of a courtroom. You will also notice in this video that I'm about to play for you that Matt Walsh is going to have so much cognitive dissonance. He's going to completely ignore all of the things that we're actually stating about Erica Kirk. He's not going to mention any of the things about her grooming a 15-year-old girl. In fact, I made a tweet about it that's causing a bit of a ruckus. So the title of his video is Debunking the Erica Kirk Conspiracy Theories. So here I state, so Matt Walsh makes an entire video debunking the quote-unquote Erica Kirk conspiracies while simultaneously ignoring the fact that Erica Kirk abandoned her role as her children's mother to be the public face and jet-setting CEO of one of the most influential political organizations in the country, only to do things very contradictory to what her alleged deceased husband openly talked about at length. He doesn't even address the fact found on video that Mikey McCoy walked immediately away, phone to ear, the instant Charlie was allegedly hit, and Terrell Farnsworth taking a selfie video saying Charlie was unalived as he was being carried to the SUV. Why did they refuse the EMT crew who were right there? Can any of them explain themselves? No, they have all lied about it. Erica has been caught in way too many lies over the past 3 months that it's indefensible at this point. Matt Walsh is a coward. If Erica Kirk was a heavyset black woman with no history of bikini pics on the internet, working under Trump with completely no relation to Zionism, then they wouldn't even care. So I'm going to save all of you all the grief of having to listen to an hour-long video where he actually doesn't really debunk anything. Instead, I'm going to give you sort of the quintessential clip from this overall video that pretty much pinpoints what he does the entire video. Hit the like button on your way in.
Trans radicals are murdering people in this country constantly. There is nothing at all surprising or implausible about the idea that they also killed Charlie Kirk. And you can go back and watch that episode to hear that case laid out. I hope you do if you haven't seen it.
So, there's so many things here. So let's just start with this point. So the story is, the narrative is that Tyler Robinson had a 30-06 rifle that he carried onto the roof of the building. When he got on the roof, he assembled the weapon in record timing, took a clean shot at Charlie, hit Charlie on the first shot, got off the roof, but not before disassembling the weapon in record timing using a screwdriver, and then he placed the rifle back into a backpack that the rifle would have been too big for. He jumped off the roof while leaving the screwdriver on the roof. He then runs to some property that just so happens to be owned by Palantir, where he reassembled the weapon without the screwdriver and perfectly left it there wrapped in a blanket for the FBI to find, but not before they would later find him conveniently 33 hours later. That's what you want us to believe. Tyler Robinson's parents have already come out and stated they don't believe that he did this, but of course his family's supposed to state that. So let's take it a step further. The video footage of Tyler Robinson allegedly being turned in or turning himself in magically disappeared and doesn't exist anymore. That's what Matt Walsh wants you all to believe, that another lone power with the radical leftist ideology was able to take out another conservative politician from a rooftop that his team, once again in history, as we've seen, conveniently chose not to check out. just like Butler, Pennsylvania with Donald Trump. That's what Matt Walsh wants you to believe. If that's not an insult to your intelligence, I don't know what is.
Today, I want to focus instead on the increasingly aggressive and single-minded attacks on Erica Kirk specifically. As you may have seen, last night, Candace debuted a new series called The Bride of Charlie, which purports to tell us the sinister truth about Erica. This, of course, didn't come out of nowhere. For weeks now, Candace has openly suggested that Erica may have committed a crime in connection with her husband's murder. For example, here she was a couple of weeks ago stating that the police should detain Erica and subject her to interrogation. Watch.
Look, I have seen enough, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen enough. Erica Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. Like I said, you can show me the person who disagrees with me on that after I will reveal to you what we can now confirm. You can show me that individual and I will show you a full-blown fraud. That's the only people that would disagree with that assessment.
Well, Matt Walsh is 100% a fraud. But before Matt Walsh speaks, I want you all to see something first and understand something about Matt Walsh. We all know that he works for Ben Shapiro and he has to answer to Ben Shapiro and do what they tell him to do. We understand it already. We understand that he's a shield and one would even use the word prostitute. All right, fine. But outside of being a political prostitute, let's just keep the ad hominems away from the video. Let's just deal with the facts, what we can prove. Matt Walsh has said out of his own mouth that as it pertains to the war in the Middle East, he doesn't care about it. Doesn't have anything to do with his life. Doesn't make him a difference one way or the other. This is what he said to Tucker Carlson.
I come in with a different perspective than maybe some people who are really interested in the debate in that I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm constantly hearing from the peanut gallery demanding that I kind of give my verdict or my take on Israel and Israel versus Palestine and all this kind of stuff. And I have given my take. And my take is I don't care that much. I just don't care that much. I'm not just America first. I'm an American chauvinist in that I only care about my own country. I honestly don't care about other countries. I wish them well. I don't wish any of them. I don't wish them ill. I wish the people of other countries well. I think they all have a right to defend themselves, and they should. I think that if you can't defend yourself as a nation, or if you can't survive without being propped up by another government, say ours, then you shouldn't exist as a country. That's just the way of the world. So
wait. If you can't exist without being propped up by another government, say ours, you shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Israel cannot exist without being propped up by the United States.
You think so?
Its nuclear program came from the United States. Its weapons come from the United States. Its economy is supported by the United States. I'm not attacking Israel. I'm just saying in point of fact, I think that's true. And I mean, Israel thinks it's true, or they wouldn't have armies of lobbyists and influencers in the United States. Bibi wouldn't have shown up twice in the past 3 months.
So a war that we are actively engaging in as a country that is unaliving children and innocent people, you don't care about. But an open investigation, simply just an open investigation into the history of somebody that's of no relation to you, somebody that's not your wife, somebody that's not your child, not one of your parents, not even one of your closest friends, but instead the wife of somebody that you purport to be one of your friends, that you do care about. Got it.
Well, but as we'll see, there isn't enough evidence to justify dragging her into a police precinct, much less charging her with a crime, much less convicting her.
So that's a straw man. Who said anything about convicting her of any crime, brother? Now, if you want to talk about the 15-year-old girl that she allegedly groomed with the all the evidence to support that claim, then we can talk about maybe arresting someone. But what Candace Owens and the rest of us has been saying is she needs to be dragged into a police precinct to be questioned. All the lies that Erica Kirk has been caught in over just the past 3 months alone should draw enough suspicion. Not just lies about her life, but lies about her relationship with Charlie. The fact that Charlie Kirk called for a Doge audit just a week before everything happened, and that Doge audit is no longer taking place, is very suspicious. Not to mention that a spouse is always the number one suspect until they can be cleared. Not to mention, speaking of the Doge audit, it has just been confirmed that there has been tens of millions of dollars missing. At least $10 million, rather. Let me correct myself. There's been at least $10 million reported missing from Turning Point USA. The same Turning Point USA that Erica Kirk is now the CEO of. You're saying that's not enough of a reason to question her. She's lied about her whereabouts. Matt Walsh, what are you talking about here?
There isn't any evidence, actual positive evidence, that Erica has committed any crime or covered up any crime or had any involvement in any crime, to include especially the crime of murdering her husband.
Oh, boy.
And that's why, although the innuendos about Erica may be compelling fodder for YouTube videos, they would not be compelling to a grand jury or a prosecutor or a judge. If you took everything that's been said about Erica or implied and tried to present it as evidence in a court of law, you would be laughed out of the room.
So let's take Matt Walsh's logic. This is how you know this guy is a shield, and he's doing what somebody else is telling him to do, because he wouldn't apply this to anybody else, but he's going to apply it to Erica Kirk. Okay, let's just run with it then. Let's see if this sticks. Let's see if this holds up. O.J. Simpson was found innocent in the court of law. You believe that they got that right? Do you believe that they get everything right in the court of law? What? The answer is no. So why would that be? Why would that be? The purpose of what we're doing at this stage, Matt Walsh, is called an investigation, not a trial. Investigations take place before the trial happens, buddy. If said things are to be found during the investigation, then we convict the person. Then we seek to convict the person. But you already know that, don't you?
There's no case here. There's no evidence of anything. Now, these attacks on Erica by Candace and by everyone else engaged in this campaign are wrong. Deeply, desperately wrong. Wrong morally and factually.
I don't even know where to start with this. Hold on, bro. You have no clue if Erica Kirk was complicit in anything. Let's just remove Charlie to the side. You don't know if she was complicit in fraud in TPUSA. You have no clue on if she conspired with anybody on anything. That's the purpose of an investigation. But what you're saying is, how dare you all notice lies? How dare you all notice contradictions with the woman on the conservative side of the political aisle? How dare you? Matt Walsh, what you're saying is, how dare you notice that things are not adding up with the story that they're telling us about Charlie? How dare you notice that the very things that Charlie stood for, Erica Kirk is doing the exact opposite, like telling people to stop asking questions when Charlie Kirk quite literally said that is the one thing you should not stop doing. You're saying when she provided an alibi, the alibi did not hold up. And even the picture that she provided of the little boy, of the children, looks to be a little boy that's much older than what her son would look like. You're saying don't notice these things. You're saying this picture right here on the screen, just days after Charlie was taken out, her giddy and laughing and saying things like, if someone acts strange during the grieving process, don't look too much into it. Huh? Not to be morbid, but my husband is dead. Huh? Telling people to completely disregard any and everything Charlie Kirk had them working on prior to September 10th. Bragging about the amount of money and merchandise that they've sold and made. Bragging about the amount of people that had to show up for the memorial, calling it the event, the best political event of the century or whatever she said. Filming who is allegedly Charlie Kirk in a casket as if to try to convince people that he's actually deceased. You're saying don't notice these things. If this was somebody on the left, you think Matt Walsh would have this much grace? You think Matt Walsh would notice these things? You don't think Matt Walsh would call these things out? Of course he would. Of course he would.
They are wrong morally because they are wrong factually.
What?
The whole crux of the matter here is not just that Erica is a grieving widow.
Oh boy.
But that she is innocent of the accusations that are being made or implied against her.
You don't know that. How dare you make a statement like that so definitively? You don't know that. That's the purpose of an investigation. This guy has lost all credibility. All credibility. And he's sticking with this grieving widow thing. Hold up. A grieving widow is just that. A grieving widow. Widow does not mean innocent of any and all accusations. Grieving, I want you to show me where you've seen her grieve. That's been the problem. Have you seen all of these tweets from people who want to support Erica, but her behavior is forcing them not to? You're saying don't use your common sense. Why are they using this term grieving widow as if it's interchangeable with exempt from any criticism, exempt from any wrongdoing, absent of any fault? This campaign, because first it was Officer Tatum, the Graham Allen guy, and now here's Matt Walsh.
The point is not that, hey, Erica may have killed her husband or been involved in it or covered it up, but we should take it easy on her because she's a grieving widow. The point is that Erica didn't do any of that.
What? What?
There is no evidence that she did any of that. No evidence at all, period. Defaming anybody with untrue accusations is very bad, but defaming a widow, the grieving wife of a man that we all say we loved and admired, is unspeakably, horrifically bad.
I'm truly at a loss for words. I'm truly at a loss for words. But I believe after today's episode, I think it's going to become more and more difficult for these people. I do believe it, right? Because people like Matt Walsh will not be able to act in good faith and actually address the very things that we're talking about. I won't say nobody because there's a lot of people in the world and some people are just lunatics. But the majority of us are not accusing Erica Kirk of taking out Charlie Kirk. We're saying that where there's smoke, there's fire. And this lady has been caught in so many lies. Or if you can look at it from this perspective, we're not even analyzing Erica Kirk, the widow. We're analyzing Erica Kirk, the CEO. And what we know is that there's been a whole lot of fraudulent-like behavior and activity taking place at TPUSA. There's been at least 3 Doge audits that's taking place externally from the organization or by people externally outside of the organization that I know of. One of them I interviewed, the very first one I interviewed being Brian the auditor. You're saying overlook that as well. Because if you want to say, well, she wasn't the CEO during that time, so she had nothing to do with it. The point is, she's the CEO now, and she's yet to fire anybody. She's yet to call for a Doge audit. In fact, they've been firing people with no explanation. People that's worked 60-hour weeks for them. But according to Matt Walsh, you shouldn't notice that. None of those things are weird. But if she was a leftist, if she was anything other than a white conservative woman who was once married to somebody I call my friend, then she would be subject to criticism and investigation. I can't take these people serious.